for being here with us in this webinar. We are happy to have you. The program tonight is being brought to you by the Bridge to Success Educational Group, which is a non-for-profit organization based in United States. The vision statement for the Bridge to Success Educational Group is that we aspire to be the exemplar of how an unwavering focus on individual well-being as our top priority will ensure creating vibrant communities through addressing the root causes of social problems we face in society. Tonight's webinar, or for some of you, this morning's seminar, I know friends are joining us from Australia as well, is part of under the umbrella of the art of well-being. We have a wonderful presenter lined up for this program. We are blessed to be supported by consultants and professionals in the field in United States who are very competent, and we are very thankful to them for giving us the time to be here and to do what we are asking them to do pro bono. So with this, please take note that this program is being recorded, and as I mentioned, the talk will be presented here by Mrs. Mahshid Payan, who lives in Southern California. Mrs. Payan's education is as follows. She has a Bachelor of Art degree in English Literature, a Master of Art in Educational Psychology, a Master of Science in Psychology, Marriage and Family Counseling, plus additional higher level graduate coursework. She is licensed in the state of California as a marriage and family therapist since 1993, working in private practices since 1993 in Southern California, and she has an office in Sherman Oaks, California, as well as she telehealth. Her experience spans over working with children, youth, adults, and couples. Her work areas are child therapy, individual therapy, premarital counseling, marriage and couple therapy, family and group therapy, anxiety, stress, depression, life transition, loss and grief, parenting classes, study skills, teaching courses in all areas of communication skills, as well as consultation and problem-solving skills. For the past 35 years, she has been teaching courses in communication skills, parenting classes, healthy dating, and foundations for a healthy relationship and marriage enrichment. She also has been an international public speaker for many, many years. Without any delay, I would like to welcome Mrs. Payan and invite her to enlighten us tonight or in this session with what is a healthy dating all about, and how can we choose our future partner, a suitable future partner. So as I said before, presentation will be first, and then after she is done, then it will be time for questions. So as she's speaking, please take down your questions or things that you would like for her to elaborate, and those we can do it at the end. Without any further delay, Mrs. Payan, floor is yours.
Thank you very much to you for your kindness, and my gratitude to Bridge to Success Educational Group for this opportunity for all of us. Thank you. Dear friends, welcome. when we talk about dating and getting to know someone and preparation for marriage, it's a very tall order. And in today's world, this order is becoming taller and taller because we know more. We have access to more research. We know better now. We have more experience. We have more research. So basically, if we were to give a definition to dating and how to choose a marriage partner, dating can be defined as studying someone's core personality traits and value systems, plural value systems. And we will dissect it in a few minutes as to exactly what it means. Why is it that these two items are on top of the list? These are all encompassing items. We can write a book about each one of them. Each one of them can include 100 little items. Also, because it is these two items that we need to deal with, we face, and they are in front of us every single day of our lives for the rest of our life. So it's important to put these two under magnifying glass. Personality traits, core personality traits, and value systems. When I say value systems, we all have different sets of value systems. From our parents and family, from our culture. Those who come from a religious background, they get a set of value systems from their religion, from the community we live in. As we grow older, from the things we are exposed to, which may be different from the culture we learn from our parents. And as a result of all the above, we develop our own personal value systems. So it's very important to study these carefully. These two, the personality traits and value systems, influence every decision and every action in life, all the choices. Now, friends, also when we talk about marriage, we need to look at it. I know it's not popular in today's society, but we need to look at it as a very serious, lifelong commitment to ourselves, to our partner, the two couple to each other, to our families, and to our society. As you mentioned before, I'm a marriage family therapist, so a lot of people who believe in God tell me also it's the most serious commitment to God for them. In every culture throughout history, there is a marriage ceremony. There are wedding vows that people say. Every village, every city, every country throughout the human culture has had these. And we need to take these very seriously. Unfortunately, at the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century, these foundations became a little loose. People didn't want to accept the responsibility for the hard work that it takes to keep these commitments and the marriage. As a result, it became this trial thing. Okay, I marry this person. If I don't like it, I'll get out. Then the third person, then the fourth person. And that is not necessarily going to make it any better. And if we have time at the end of our meeting today, we can probably attend that for a couple of minutes. Actually, those become more destructive and not helpful. Getting married 5 times doesn't necessarily make it better. It's not practicing the piano that if I try and try, it gets better. Dynamics are different. This is one place where the society has been going wrong. In developing a healthy relationship and putting the foundations while we're getting to know somebody for a future lifelong commitment of marriage, we need to be very careful to develop true bonds of love and friendship. I said true love, not the superficial love. Not that we see somebody across a big hall and we say, oh, she's cute and he's cute, and I like to get to know this person better. That can be infatuation at best. Love comes from truly getting to know somebody. Love comes from experience in a relationship. I have seen this person through the good and the bad and the ugly, through tests and challenges, sad times and happy times. Then true love develops, like two students, two classmates who study together. They communicate all throughout the year. They get to share personal life stories and experiences. They go through the struggle of the final exams week. They study all night. They may complain and nag, and that's okay. But then these are the people who become best friends for life. Most of us, if they ask us, who is your best friend? We name one of our school friends because we went through those trials and the hardships and the up and down of life, and we stood by each other. We supported each other back to back, and that's where true, long-lasting love and friendship develops. In a dating situation, we need to give the relationship enough opportunity for that to happen. That's what we call true bonds of love. Not at the beginning, not temporary, not we went to a wedding and had a great time. These are different. Those are wonderful, but different, not essential enough for commitment to marriage. We know based on instructions that we have been given through history. We also know through more than 350 years of international research on marriage and family that this connection of the hearts, the strong bond of true love and friendship between the two hearts, needs to happen first as the strong foundation to carry this relationship for the rest of our lives. And then on top of that, we can build the second aspect of our marriage, which is the physical connection and union with a loved one. That's one reason for the huge rate of divorce. I know friends in this meeting are from different countries and different cultures, and statistics could be different. But almost we can say all over the world, the statistics and the numbers are going up. A lot of that is because this perfect order is not being observed. People are in such a rush in their relationships that they don't allow that bond to develop. And there are scientific reasons for this. These are not lectures, there are studies and scientific reasons for them. Again, if we have time at the end of the session and friends are curious, we can open these concepts a little more. Let's go through a blueprint, a list of what we need to study. I said personality and value systems, well, very ambiguous. How am I going to do this tomorrow? Let's go through 9 distinct steps. And of course, we can put another 50 items under each one of them. But if I'm looking at dating as this big umbrella that covers the entire dating and choosing a partner, I can go through 9 main categories under this huge umbrella of this knowing to each other and deciding. And then we can attend the details under them. If I cover the 9, I have covered my bases, and everything under these 9, all the subcategories under these 9 are covered. Now, the first one is interesting. Everybody expects, okay, I'm ready to date. I'm going to go out and study this person, see this person is like this or like that. one of the first steps, ideally the first step in going out and dating, is to start with myself and study myself. How do I study myself? In order to save time tonight, I'm going to study myself in the rest of those 9 categories. We have 8 remaining at this point, in the other 8 areas. Because if I don't know myself, if I don't know who is going to be a good match for me, if I don't know what I want and what I have to contribute to a relationship, if I don't know what areas, even as an adult, I need to improve myself, then I can go out there and date and come back and be more confused than day one. And dear friends, I see these things every day at work. A wonderful man, a wonderful young man is an example who was truly an amazing human being, everything to offer to a marriage, came to me and said, I have been dating for 10 years and I'm more confused. It feels like I'm going in circles. I'm seeing the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm intelligent. I'm high functioning. I can recognize them. Why am I in a circle? He missed this first step. He didn't study himself. And the danger, dear friends, in not studying myself is that there are more chances that I'm going to make mistakes and end up in destructive relationships, relationships that don't fit me, and more chances that I'm going to miss on good relationships. Human beings by nature don't only reject bad things or negative things. When a good thing drops on my lap or crosses my path, and I don't know if it's good enough for me or not, and I don't know if it's a fit for me or not, more chances that from this fear of the unknown, I will reject it. And we see examples of these in the society all the time. So when I don't do the research and the study on myself, I lose from both ends. More chances that I will lose good relationships and more risk of falling into the trap of bad relationships. Now, how do I study myself and the other person? With the following 8 categories that we are going to discuss. I'm going to give the examples, keeping the other person in mind, but of course, we all know that I have to do all of that on myself first. If I'm not ready to date, I should do my homework first. Studying myself is first, but I will mention the other 8 categories as they cross my mind. There is no particular order, and when we are ready to go out there and date, we can do all of them at the same time. If I were to give this formula a title, the 9 categories that I mentioned, the big umbrella over how to date, what to study, how to recognize, how to decide, it would be assessing one's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage, including myself in number 1. And I'm using maturity and responsibility together, friends, because these 2 words together have a bigger meaning. It's not that I'm mature enough, I'm old enough, I can vote, I can drive, I can get a job. And it's bigger than I'm responsible enough, I study and I make my room and I'm clean and organized and I respect my friends. All of this is good, but when we combine maturity and responsibility, they have a much bigger meaning together. And as we discuss the 8 categories, the definition of these 2, maturity and responsibility, together becomes more clear. So I'll mention them as they cross my mind. Let's call it number 2. The next area where I assess this person's level of, and I'm going to repeat this many, many times on purpose to make an impression in your mind. I assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility. That is studying of core personality traits and value systems that's on my agenda by observing him in the area of his original family environment, observing him. If this person lives with the family, even easier. If not, I observe them when they are together. And friends, in all of these categories, I gather my information from my direct observations and from the stories that are shared with me. I may not have a chance to go back to this person's childhood, or one family member may not be living anymore, or they may be at a distance and I may not have firsthand access. So the stories that people share with me and the intelligent, curious, scientific questions that I ask when I'm dating somebody will give me a lot of information. What am I looking for when I'm studying someone's family relationships and assessing this level of maturity and responsibility? I'm looking for patterns. I'm looking for patterns of respect in the family. Let's say they all got together one Sunday afternoon, they want to watch a movie, they want to order pizza and spend time together. It doesn't have to be a big production. Or we're all getting together for dinner. I'm looking for patterns of respect among family members. I'm looking for proper hierarchy in the family. With a lot of immigrant families, especially, we see that the hierarchy is destroyed. Like parents are supposedly treated like they don't know anything. Children and young teenagers start ruling the house because they speak the language, they know the ways, they know the system. So a lot of times the family hierarchy turns upside down. I'm also looking for patterns of communication in the family. I keep on repeating patterns because we never want to hang somebody for one bad example. Every person and every family has one bad day, has one bad example. We look for patterns. Patterns of communication, consultation in the family, problem solving in the family. These are things that are in our faces every day when we live with someone. Patterns of respect for women is extremely important, which includes, again, I said we can put a lot of subcategories under these, which can include lack of prejudice, among all things. If we are talking about a man, I would put his relationship with his mother under magnifying glass. And if we are dating a woman, I would put her relationship with her father under magnifying glass for a lot of scientific reasons that I'm sure most of you friends are aware of. That determines my life with this person tomorrow. If I get married to somebody who has no relationship, no connection, no love, no attachment with his mother, that's me tomorrow. As much as day one and during La La Land dating period, the first 5 or 6 months, it may not look so. But that's reality. If a girl has learned to hate men, not trust men, not to trust or love her father, no connection, no relationship, no role modeling from the father, tomorrow that's the husband. And of course, by mentioning what we're looking for and the red flags and the negatives, you know exactly what to look for. And we look for patterns and we are studying, we are observing. Friends, remember, we are not there to fix anybody. We are not there to criticize. We are not there to change anybody. We need to be very careful with these things. A lot of people make the mistake of jumping in. Oh, I noticed this. I noticed you didn't talk properly to your mother. Oh, I noticed you guys do this. It's not our job to walk in and fix any family. We are there to study. We are there to observe and collect information. And once we collect all the information, then all of them together will give us a clear picture that will help us make the decision. Actually, if we do our homework right, the decision is right in front of us in flashing neon signs. We don't even need to make a decision. The answer is so clear. I'm going to summarize and move on. I just noticed we don't have a whole lot of time left. Another category where I study this person's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage is by observing him with his best or his or her best friends and buddies. A person may have 50 friends, may have a lot of acquaintances. The focus here is on those 1 to 3 people who are closest to him, like a group of 3, 4, 5 people who are always together. Why? Because for a lot of reasons that these people became best friends and got glued together, and they know everything about each other, and they share, and they have a lot of activities together. I can bet that these friends and this person are more similar in personality and value systems that I'm trying to study than this person's identical twin would be. Otherwise, they couldn't be best friends. They couldn't be together all the time. They couldn't be always talking, always the same activities, always the same thing. And usually during dating, everybody starts by wearing a social mask. Something that's publicly sweet and good and pleasant and polite and respectful. But usually, even from the first date, people have no problems talking about their best friends. In this area, I'm looking for what is it that I'm looking for in this person's friends? I'm looking for their general level of functioning. For instance, if they have enough education, if they have responsible jobs, extremely important if they are family oriented, that shows a certain level of maturity. If they are independent, even if they are living with their parents, if they have an independent lifestyle and goals and plans, if they are in healthy relationships, not acting like a bunch of teenagers around town. And it's important to look for the activities that they engage in when they are together. So these 2, 3, 5 friends get together every week and do what? Extremely important. That tells you who this person is. So after the first couple of months of dating, it's good to meet this person's best friends. It's good to meet this person's siblings. After 4 or 5 months, if everything is moving smoothly and all the answers are yes, it's good to meet the families. Even after 3, 4 months, one dinner with this person's family, one coffee at some coffee shop with this person's parents, for instance, or the sister and her husband, for instance. After 5 months, after 6 months, when the infatuation phase wears off and relationship becomes more serious, then it's a good time for the two families to meet. Dear friends, part of getting to know this person, I started by saying that this is a commitment to person, to the families, to the society. You want to see what tomorrow's life is going to look like. Can these two families get together at a dinner table and be civil and have a good time and respect each other and be peaceful? Because tomorrow, all that stress and headache is going to be in your life. If they get along, if they click, if they are good. Again, we look for patterns. 2, 3, 5 sittings will give us a good picture. So getting to know the friends and then the siblings and then gradually the parents and then gradually families getting together is very appropriate. A lot of people said, well, if this person's parents invited me for dinner and I go, it means I'm saying yes. No, absolutely not. From the beginning of the dating, put your value system on the table. They need to know that getting to know the friends and the family is part of getting to know this person. It doesn't mean I'm saying yes. It means I have to have this piece of information to decide. So don't be afraid of these things. Next one is I look for this. I study, assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility by observing them in their area of work. If there is an opportunity, spend half an hour at this person's place of work. If there is a holiday gathering or a function at work and it's okay for you to attend, make sure you accept the invitation. In place of work, we're looking for how responsibly this person handles their work. For instance, if they put in enough hours, honest hours, if they work honestly, if they're hardworking people for the pay that they are getting, how they are getting along with people above them. All these items that I'm mentioning show different corners of personality traits and value systems. How they get along with people who work under them at any level. We examine their level of honesty at work. That's extremely important. And what I put under magnifying glass is the adjectives that most coworkers use to describe this person. If you're at a work function, at a party, at a picnic, at something, all the coworkers are going to walk up to you. How nice to meet you. You're a nice person. This is a nice person. What a good couple. They are going to give you a lot of compliments and positive comments, general positive comments. If this person is lazy and slacks off from work, not 3 out of 4 coworkers are going to say, "Whoa, this person is the most hardworking person in the office. Without him, we would be dead." No, they are going to say, "What a nice person. What a nice couple." The adjectives that they use, this person is so hardworking. This person is so honest. This person is so responsible. I have learned so much from this person. The adjectives that most coworkers use to describe the person, you can take to the bank. Friends or coworkers know us better than our own family members because they see us at the level of adult functioning, 8-10 hours a day under stress, decision making, opportunities. They see the good and the bad and the ugly every day. Our parents don't get to see that stuff. So it's important. And if you have questions about why should I look for this, why should I look for that pattern, we can talk about them later. As I said, they are all connected to assessing personality, traits, and value systems. Another area where I assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage, and please remember, I am assessing myself at the very beginning in all the above, is in the area of finances. There are 3 red flags in the area of finances, friends. I've been a psychologist all my life, as was mentioned before. The 3 red flags are equally destructive, and they all get worse with time and age and with more money, despite popular belief. Time, age, and more money will make these patterns more destructive. I'm sure you have observed some of them. One is, let's call them ABC, because we are on number 5. A is people who are wasteful with money. These people have no regards for tomorrow. And life always has a tomorrow. Tomorrow my car needs 4 new tires. Tomorrow the dishwasher breaks down. Tomorrow the refrigerator breaks down. Tomorrow my children need dental work, for instance. Life always has a tomorrow. Wasteful people, what are the signs? They spend all the money they have with no regard for tomorrow. Now, as much as we don't want to be gold diggers and money is not the goal of our life. But it's good to know for me if I'm assessing myself, how am I handling my money? How is this person handling his or her money? B, the second destructive category is people who are extremely cheap and miserable with money when it comes down to money. The sign is that these people have fallen in love with green paper. We call money green paper. They have fallen in love with green paper. They don't spend it on themselves. They don't spend it on other people. And their life's goal has shifted somewhere. Sometimes role modeling, sometimes personal experience. This goal has shifted from I'm going to work to earn money to be at the service of my life, like the tires under my car, to I'm going to work and collect green paper. They don't know why they are collecting it or for whom. They just collect it. Now, letter C, the third destructive category when it comes to finances. Dear ones, this remains very well hidden. To most people on this planet, to most psychologists, this remains hidden. A young girl who was dating for 9 months came to me, and the distance was like they lived 5, 6 hours away from each other. That this person is wonderful, he's good, he's this, but I'm confused. I said, why are you confused? Well, after 9 months, he hasn't given me one card, one happy birthday card or happy new year card. He hasn't given me one rose. I mean, how much does one rose cost after 9 months? Not that I'm looking for anything, but I'm confused. Why is this? I said, maybe the poor thing doesn't have money. She said, no, he has a good job and he makes a lot of money. I said, is he cheap? She said, no, last few days ago, he was in town. We went to a big store. He bought about $9,000 worth of new suits for himself. So he has the money, and I saw him spending it. What's wrong with this picture? Friends, ask yourself right now, what's wrong with this picture? This is that third, very well hidden, confusing category. This person was a selfish spender. I don't think you can find this phrase in 99% of psychology books. It's not one of the scientific categories, but it's very real. I've seen it. Selfish spenders only spend on themselves. Doesn't matter if they have a tiny little bit of money or they have tons of money. The money is spent on them or where their interest is on the line. If he wants to go to a restaurant and have an amazing, extremely, whatever, elaborate, expensive dinner, and he doesn't want to go alone, he would take this girl with him, and they would have a great, expensive dinner. But that was for him, not for her. But the one rose would be for her, so it didn't happen. The one card would be for her. If they want to take a trip, they may invite this person to go because they don't want to go alone. They want to have fun. But doesn't mean he's spending money on me. No, it means he's spending money on himself. So this becomes very confusing. You see the signs 180 degrees from each other. You're jumping from black to white, from white to black, and you don't know what to make of it. What is ideal in this area? Ideal for you and me and everybody else, people who are dating, is someone who can spend comfortably at present time. This is a scientific quotation I'm using. Of course, depending on our income, spending comfortably at present time with always having the future in mind. Please underline always in your head. Always having the future in mind. That's a person who has grown in the area of finances, and in this department, he or she is ready to get married. because life always has a future, and married life has a lot of responsibilities that are multiplied. Once we get married, gradually the responsibilities are multiplied. Now we're down to number 6. The next area where I assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage is by observing them in the area of service. Ideal service, healthy service, is when I give of my time, I give of my talents, and if necessary, I give up my finances. I'm contributing time, talents, and money. And in order to be healthy, in order to help with our growth and development and maturity, our own health, growth, and maturity, it has to be regular. Less than once a month, once every couple of months is not regular. I mean, God bless those people who write one check to charity once a year or two checks to charity twice a year. It's better than nothing. They get good marks for effort, but that's not the regular service to humanity that will help me grow and bring me true happiness. And as a couple, will bring them closer to one another and bring them a lot of happiness. And I know I'm repeating myself for the fourth time. It tells me a lot about this person's personality and value systems. Now, if you're dating somebody who hasn't learned to be service oriented, they grew up in a family where this was never mentioned, it's okay. But it's always wonderful during the dating period to get involved in some form of charity and service together. Friends, once you do the smallest work in charity together, you see the day after you're married right in front of you. They are building a building somewhere. You say, okay, we're going to plant flowers in the little area, roundabout area in front of the building. It doesn't have to be a big project. A charity organization is giving food to the hungry. You volunteer to serve food or set up food or clean up. Doesn't matter what it is. But you're going to see how much cooperation there is between the two of you. You're going to see how much this person listens to you, how well they consult with you, how you guys navigate through the problems and make decisions together. A telling sign is if when this person gets involved in charity and service, if they become happier, if their energy goes up, if 1 hour through the service project, they want to do more, they get excited, they talk about it. If tomorrow they talk about it, if they want to go back and check the flowers that they planted yesterday, for instance. If they say, it was so wonderful, I want to do it again. I'm surprised I never did this before. So, but a selfish person, somebody who doesn't have it in them to give, will become more resentful, will become tired soon, will want to just push everything together and get out the door and will never go back. This is why I said it's more about us than people who receive the service. It tells us about this person's personality and value systems. And we know that a couple who do service together, a family who does service together, parents, children, everybody, the bonds of love and friendship between them grows, love, respect, and trust will grow, and they will always be a happier, higher functioning family. Really, the blessing is for people who do the service. So it's very important to see this in this person, to encourage them, to get involved with them and see the results. And the results in both of us. Remember, we are studying ourselves too. Let's go to number 7. Another area where I assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage is by examining their level of core honesty. Friends, we know that as human beings, we are born with a lot of potential to develop all good virtues, all of the good higher human nature attributes. every day to become kinder, more helpful, more forgiving, more sacrificing, on and on and on. The list is at least 350 items, at least that I have counted. If my mission in life is to develop all these virtues, and these virtues will go on to eternity, I need a strong foundation to build on. And a strong cement foundation for building all these virtues, the 400 virtues, this high rise that will go up to eternity, is honesty and truthfulness. It's like this. You have seen these high rises that they build in cities. What do? They dig the ground, they pour this concrete in this huge area, much bigger than the building, and then they start erecting the walls. Honesty and truthfulness is that huge cement block under all of our virtues and higher human qualities that we need to develop. And friends, it's extremely important in a marriage, even in a good friendship, to have honesty. A lot of people tell me, well, it's so difficult with the social masks that everybody wears. It's so difficult to assess anybody's honesty. How can you tell? Dating 2 months, 4 months, how do you know? I'm going to share one tricky clue with you. Even from the first date, observe, see what is the first thing that crosses this person's mind when they are cornered in life. What is the first thing? Let's say the first date, they are supposed to meet you somewhere and they are half an hour late. Do they come up with a long story and a bunch of excuses, or do they say, I am so sorry, I got home from work, I was tired, I thought I would lie down for a second and rest my back before I get ready, and I fell asleep, and I apologize profusely, and they promised that this will never happen again. You guys go to a restaurant, they want their dinner fast because you have to run to a movie and you're running late. Do they give a bunch of stories to the waiter and waitress to get their food fast? Or do they come clean and say, hey, we apologize. We have half an hour to get to the movies. What food item can you bring us the fastest? Let us order that and get out the door, and we appreciate it. A lot of waiters and waitresses tell me anybody who is running late for a show or a movie tells them, I'm a pilot, I need to get to the airport, I'm taking off in half an hour, put my order in first, and they order the most difficult foods. And they know these things. They have heard this story 100 times. Not half of the population in town are pilots. People recognize these things. So or that you're driving down the road, police stops you. What is the first thing that crosses this person's mind, and what is the first thing out of their mouth? That tells you the level of honesty, and we look for patterns. Some places there may be a misunderstanding. You may think that they spent yesterday with their family, but then a friend runs into you on the street, says, hey, it was nice seeing you last night. And you may think, oh, this person is not truthful. But then look for patterns, and there may be more to the story. Maybe this friend was at their house with the family, so they were all together. So don't be too quick in judging, but keep your antennas sharp. Again, I cannot emphasize this one enough. And friends, also remember, speaking from my experience at work, when somebody is honest, when the core is honest, they are honest everywhere. They are honest with their spouse, at work, with the community, tomorrow with the children. And someone who is dishonest at work, is dishonest with their spouse, and tomorrow they will lie and break their children's hearts. It's not that, this is another misconception. It's not that I can be dishonest in one department of life, but then I close the door and go home and I become this perfect angel. It doesn't work like that. It's a core personality trait. It's the wiring of this person. It's not a cartoon. It doesn't change that quickly. Let's go to number 8. We can talk about these things for long periods of time. I have to catch myself and stop myself. I'm looking for this person's level of honesty and maturity for marriage. I'm sorry, I said honesty too many times. Responsibility and maturity for marriage by observing him during tests and challenges in life. I'm going to give you the ideal to cut the conversation short, and you're going to notice that every step of the way, if something is missing from that ideal, then there's a problem. What is ideal in facing tests and challenges in life? And you all know that we are born in this life, human life on earth is a school. We are here to learn, to get tests, sometimes get pop quizzes, big tests, small tests, learn, improve, and move on. This is nature of life on earth. So tests and challenges are part of everyday life. There is no day in human life that doesn't have a challenge or a test. This is why we examine it before we get into a relationship. Now, what is ideal? Someone who sees the tests and challenges for the size that they are, meaning they don't minimize it and sweep it under the rug and sit on it so it gets worse, meaning that they don't blow it out of proportion and panic. So they see it for the size that it is, comma, if you're writing, I'm going to give you a lot of commas. Collect themselves and attend the subject as soon as possible. Speed matters here, proper speed matters, because when we sit on problems, they only get bigger and uglier. So they collect themselves and attend it as soon as possible. They do proper research and ideally have learned to consult on all matters. Consultation on all matters is a saving grace for all relationships. So they do their research if necessary, they consult when necessary, and with you, when I say consult, you are included in that. You may consult somebody outside of the relationship or together. They problem solve effectively. Please pay attention to the adjectives here. I'm choosing my words very carefully. They problem solve effectively, so there is a mutually acceptable solution, so it can be implemented. Next item, next comma is they implement the solution, because talking, consulting without action is useless. A lot of people get stuck there. They implement the solution. They learn from the process. Dear friends, I cannot emphasize this word enough. They learn from the process. Why? Because this whole package was given to me to learn. If I don't learn, I have wasted my life and I'm losing. So they learn from the process. They remove the problem from their life for good. The learning will help you kick that problem. And as a result, they improve the rest of their life. This is healthy. And any of these steps that's missing needs to be worked on. This area is not as horrible as the area of finances, for instance, which I told you there is no solution for it and it gets worse. This one we can learn. A lot of things in life we can learn. Actually, in a relationship, when the facing the challenges happens the way I just mentioned, it helps the relationship. The hearts grow closer to one another. The bonds of love become stronger. They go through challenges, but life in general is happier and healthier. So there's a lot of value in the challenges that life gives us. Let's move to number 9. I want to make sure I leave some time for questions and answers. I assess this person's level of maturity and responsibility for marriage by observing their level of detachment in life. Friends, detachment is a giant word, but it's very important in life. If I were to define it for the purposes of dating and marriage, it would be somebody who is not attached to unimportant, short term, passing, unnecessary items in life. There is a huge difference between a life where the partners are detached and they are not nitpicking and they are not looking for trouble in everything, and a life that's the opposite. There is no comparison. It's heaven and hell. Dear friends, this is 90% of the marriage problems that comes to my office. And they are very typical of the world we live in. They are not about particular to a specific area. He did this, she did this. I went to my mother-in-law's house. They offered everybody this. They didn't offer it to me. So and so received the wedding invitation first. We received it later. We went to a wedding. Our chair was here. They put food in front of me. The food was cold. I don't like this. I don't like that. You didn't ask me. You didn't tell me. All these things. I always tell couples who come to my office, any item that life brings you, if in the bigger picture of life, keeping everything in mind, not just me and this issue, if in the bigger picture of life and long-term picture, 6 months, 2 years down the road, this item doesn't make any difference, just drop it. It's dust in the air, it's garbage on the ground, ignore it and move on. You know what they tell me? They say, what kind of businesswoman are you? This is not good for your business. So yeah, you're right. It's not good for my business, but it's very good for you. Somebody who is detached has focus on the goals, bigger, higher goals in life. They don't get tangled up with tiny little minute difficulties in front of them. Let's go, you go to a wedding. I'm going to give you the best examples, not problem examples. You go to a wedding. Somebody who is detached knows the higher goal. What is the higher goal? I am going there feeling honored that they invited me because the space is always limited. They chose me. They are blessing me by joining in their happiness, and my responsibility is to take a lot of happiness there, brighten up their gathering, support this couple and the beautiful event, and come back home with a ton more happiness in my heart. That's how a detached person sees a wedding. Now, somebody who is not detached will say, oh my God, now we have to go. Why did they invite us at this time? The drive, the traffic. They look at all the obstacles in the road and they look for problems. Somebody who's not detached is always looking for something negative to complain about. And oh my God, my seat is like this. My back hurts on this chair. I cannot stand on my feet for too long. The music is too loud. How about the food? How about this? Who was there? Who wasn't there? On, and there is no end to it. They missed the boat. They missed the higher goal, which was the wedding, the happiness, the support, the honor, the joy they need to bring home. They miss all of that. And friends living with these people, I have seen examples of their children's graduation. It becomes the same miserable story. Their children move away to college. There is a big event, there is a big birthday, there is a family coming, there is a trip, there is a memorials and funerals and weddings and trips are the same for these people. There is a long list of complaints and unhappiness with everything. Yes, we do attend that stuff. Yes, I have to get ready on time. Yes, I have to fight traffic to get to the wedding. But that's not my higher goal. I shouldn't even pay attention. If we put the air that we breathe under a magnifying glass like this, There is so much dust and dirt in it, we will never breathe again. If you put the clean water that you drink under magnifying glass, there are so many millions of things swimming in it that you don't want to drink anymore. Everything in life, if I focus on negatives, I will find it. You don't want your marriage to be like that. But these things can be worked on. With this one, if I need help, if my partner needs help, we can get help. Here we are not doomed. So friends, with all these things, this is a tall agenda, and I have a lot of questions to ask in every one of these. Every time I go on a date and come back home, I have to have more information in one or all of the above 9 areas. If I don't come back with more information for that day, I have wasted my time. It's very serious. A lot of people waste their time in dating. After 3 years, they still don't know what they are doing because they are not focused on the right things. They are not asking the right questions. If you don't mind, for another 1 or 2 minutes, I'm going to go back on something that I said earlier, that we need to work on developing this bond of true, pure love between the hearts. That's extremely important, and it's a gradual process. It's not that I see somebody, I have to fall in love immediately. That happens in the movies. That's not real. Even if it's real, it's not permanent. One big reason for this pure love developing is that it naturally extends itself to the entire family. It becomes like this beautiful ocean of love and happiness that the whole family swims in. Not just the immediate family, husband and wife and children, but also extended family. It extends itself. It grows. It's beautiful. Friends, I'm going to talk about 2 characteristics that stand out a lot and have been the cause of too many distractions in life. Of course, it is included under the 9 categories. I told you under each one of them, we can easily find another 10, 20 items, easily. But 2 things stand out in all these years that I've done marriage family therapy. One is selfishness. Friends, in order to be able to be in a healthy relationship, any healthy relationship, we need a lot of selflessness. To be in a marriage, in order to be in a healthy, happy marriage, we need a lot of selflessness. And we need a lot more selflessness to be a good parent. A selfish person has no chance at a healthy relationship and marriage, and it cannot be a good parent. They may be good people, but the selfishness gets in the way of doing a lot of right things. And another one is this concept of fairness and justice. Justice is one of the most important human qualities we can develop, next to that honesty and truthfulness that we talked about. It's one of the most difficult human qualities to develop because we live in a very difficult, selfish society today. Yet it's one of the most important qualities to have for a healthy marriage.
Thank you so much. My clock says 10:27. We are indebted to Mrs. Payan for her time, which is really precious. And I'm sure that she loves giving of her profession, of the knowledge that she has from all the experience that she has to us. So we are indebted to her, and we thank you also for attending this webinar from different countries. We have from United States, we have from Middle East, we have from Canada, and we have from Australia on this call, as far as I know. So the recording of this webinar will become available, and we will be in touch with all of you.